Good morning. Welcome to Spy Money. Today is called Rage with No Volume. What does that mean? How do you rage and have no volume? Well, it's kind of like working without sweat. So if you're out there and you're working away in your yard and maybe the flower beds or trees or whatever you're doing, and you're just working away. It's a hot 90-degree day, and the humidity's high, and you're sweating hard. That sweat is volume, and all that energy you're exerting. Well, when you go out there and on the same day, 90 degrees, and there's high humidity, and you're in a chair, you're drinking your iced tea, you got a fan blowing on you, and you're watching people work. That's what's going on today. That's a perfect analogy. So right now, it's kind of like someone throwing all the flowers and everything into the beds and making everything look all pretty, but no one is going to be watering it when they leave. So you've got all this work has been done and it's looking all pretty, but there's no sprinkler system. Well, that is what's going on today. We have a market that is raging and no volume. It raged yesterday, it raged today, all night. There's absolutely no volume there, which means that no one's working. There's no shares being traded. If there's no shares being traded, then sure, you can just go ahead and take money and throw it into an account, a checking account or whatever. And yes, all of a sudden you have all of this money laying there, but you didn't do anything to get it done. So that's what's going on right now with the Fed pump. They started. They said yesterday they were supposed to dump $500 billion in, and I think it actually started on Friday that they did that. And if we look at this, if we go to, let's see here, if we go to right there, and we come up to the high of today, we are at 296. The last time that they dumped that kind of money in, it went up 315 points. Okay, if we go to the 618 fib, that is going to be 310 points. The analysis even say on TV, if you watch any of the news, they're all saying 2760 and it's going to reverse. Well, this is where they get the 2760 number. Is we did a fib on the 1 hour chart from right here down to here. Actually, yeah, down to there. So this fib right here, or this drop that we had on the 1 hour, is the last time that we had any successful move that we can draw fib. Now, some of you in my Discord group are trying to do fibs, and you're wanting to take it from right here to right there. Well, you can't do that because this move is not done. You have to go in the past, and you have to start on a move that has been completed. So you go to the past, your history, in order to know what the future is going to be. And so if anybody's watching this in my Discord group, there's where you're messing up. And if you're not in my Discord group, sign up today. We teach a lot in there. We help each other out. We make it to where you don't feel like an idiot for doing something. We don't do that. Of course, now we do have some humor in there, but we don't make fun of you for bad trades or whatever. We actually try to help you get out of the bad trades. And right now, I'm in a bunch of bad trades, and I don't see anybody helping me, but they're all relying on me. This week is going to be the rage week. I believe that we will actually pop up, hit the 2760 this morning. When we hit that, I think that's where we're going to drop. It's showing a little bit of hesitation on the 50% fib, but I'm with the analysts on this one. I believe that we're going to hit the 618 fib. That's the magical number. Remember, 618 is magic. That's why it's green. So I think we will go ahead and pump up, hit the 2760. When we hit that, we're in for a huge sell-off. Now, the Feds are going to start pumping money in the market again. Their schedule is on Thursday. That's not to say they can't start it sooner and maybe Wednesday night or whichever. Because, like I said, I think that they started this $500 billion right here on Friday at close. I think that's when it actually started. There was no volume whatsoever before that really, and then all of a sudden it just started pumping in. And then look right here. This is Sunday and through Monday morning. Absolutely no volume. I mean, it's up here, and then look down here. That is someone planting your flowers for you, making everything look all pretty, but there's no sprinkler system. You've got right here, there's a lot of people, as the feds were pumping money in, they were shorting off the stock, so they were pulling profits out of here. So you look at Monday during trading hours, you got volume, and not a lot of volume really. And you look right here at the end, that one big old pump, that's where the feds dumped a bunch of money. You got your volume all the way up here. If this was an accurate rage, these gray bars down here would all be up in here. I mean, there would be so much shares being traded, it would just be unbelievable. But that is not the case. So if we go back a little bit, let's see here. When it's starting to sell off, you can see the volume's kind of coming up a little bit. A normal, let's see here. There's just been too many Fed spikes. Like right here, see how the volume is just up there and it's kind of leveled off. It's up. So with that volume being up, you've got all this selling pressure in there. There's a lot of trading right here. There was a lot of trading right here where it was selling off there. This right here is a normal day. This is not a Fed pump. So you've got all this, the volume is way up. It's not dipped down like, come back over here. It's not dipping down like this. There's no volume there. This thing should be almost flatlined across with all that's there. This right here, there's a big old dip there. So, and overnight, with all this going up, that is just nothing but Fed money. That's $500 billion. Ladies and gentlemen, that is $500 billion. That's what that'll get you. So they're going to go ahead and pump some more money in. I think it's going to go to 2760. And at that point, it's going to start selling off. Where do I think it will sell off? Well, I don't think it's going to come all the way back down to the channel this week. I think that it'll probably come back down, maybe hit the 25.58. It may go more, but I think when this starts selling off, then the feds will step in on supposedly Thursday, and then they'll start pumping another 500 billion in. I would like to see this just go ahead and keep on dropping, come all the way back down to here, and then I believe Monday, see, they're going to dump 500 yesterday, 500 Thursday, supposed to dump another 500 on Monday. As soon as they get done pumping all that money in, we are in for a surprise next week, because if you're in calls right now, me personally, what I'm doing is I'm going to sell off all my calls that are in money, because I know that this is going to sell off next week. So I'm okay with this pumping up to where it can relieve me of some of my shorter term calls and so forth, and even my longer ones. If I'm in green, I'm going to sell off, take that money, and then I'm going to go ahead and start loading up on some puts and stuff in order, as this comes down after, I guess, Monday, because Monday, maybe Tuesday, the market will be up, and then at that point I plan on loading up on puts so I can go ahead and come on down. I still believe that we are going, let me change the time frame. I still believe that we are going down to the 1700 mark. I don't think we're anywhere near coming out of the woodwork of all this. So right here's the 1700 mark. I think that's where we're going. I definitely think we're going to the 2000 mark, the 2031, that area. But I believe that we'll go down to 1700. And I've got puts in it, and if I'm wrong, then I'll just lose that money. But I really believe that that's where it's going to be. I think that with the way the feds are doing it, every time that they have pumped money off of the so-called bottom, and it's gone up 20%, then it's never made it. History proves itself. When they pump money off of the bottom and just keep on going with it, it will always reverse and come back down. So that's history. Now, if it does it this time, then history didn't repeat itself. But how often do you know history repeats itself? So that's where I'm at on ES. And let's see, go to gold. Give me some likes on there. I got 3 likes. Gold shot up, and honestly, gold ought to be higher than what it is right now, but it's not. And I will say this, in the past couple weeks, gold has been making the move before ES. So gold started spiking up right here, and that was on what day was that? Gold started spiking up on, let's see, this is Tuesday, so it'd be 2 weeks ago. Gold started going up. So gold has actually been the one, based on what I've seen, to move up before ES does. And then right here, it's just gradually moving up here. So with it gradually moving up, then we'll have to see what it does. I think it's actually going to pull back, and when it pulls back, then I think ES is going to follow with it. Typically, gold will go up when ES goes down, and that's not been the case with these two. These two have been married together. They're in a CV relationship. They're keeping their distance a little bit, but they're still walking the same walk. So gold and ES are CV CV marriage. That's really exactly what's going on with it. So I think with gold trying to pull back here, and these are my opinions. There's no facts on this, but just looking at the past history of charts, I'm a chart guy. I love charts. I love patterns. I like to try to figure out what is it going to do next based off of the history. And looking at this, that's what it looks like. Gold is not really raging right now. It did go up, yes, but it's not raging like it did here. So when it raged here, and that's just consolidated over, and it popped up a little bit, but I'd say it's probably going to be coming down. Normally this should be over 2,000. So it's kind of hard to predict it, but I think gold is end up going to pull back. So when you start seeing the gold coming back, then that's when you can look at the market and probably see that the market's getting ready to come back. And that's, again, my opinion. Crude oil shot up all last week, and then Sunday it gapped down, and now we're consolidating. Usually whenever you have a rage and a consolidation, one or two things will happen, and usually it will fall from there. Now this Thursday, there's supposed to be a report come out talking about the oil, with what's going on with it, and that oil report is projected to be bad. So if it's going to be bad, then this is definitely going to sell off there. But if the oil report is going to be good, it's going to go up. I think we've got to get worse before we can get better. So on this right here, I would think that my personal opinion is I think we'll probably end up selling off. I think this is just kind of a fake pump, because this was all news right here, news that really hasn't even come to fruition. So news is great to get a stock going, but it doesn't keep it going. It's just a fake pump, and then it'll sell off. I personally would like to see oil take off and going up. That would be great for me. And we have natural gas. Natural gas shot up too. It's actually doing what I thought it would do back in here. I thought, like, when I got in it right here and rode this up, we had the retracement come right back down. And then we've consolidated, and now we're starting to go up. Well, I believe that this is probably going to come back down, and possibly a new low. And when it does, I think that like the end of next week, I think things will start going up a little more. Yes, they're putting money in on Thursday, 500 billion. We went over that in the beginning. But until then, I think that people are going to start shorting off stuff, and that's where the feds are making their money. And when I say feds, I mean Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is not the government, guys. Look it up. It's banks. That all turned to, that was back whenever they got rid of the gold, and the bank said that they would back it up. So now we have no gold. We have banks that say they'll back up the money, and the banks are making a fortune. So maybe we'll do a YouTube video just on that someday. I'll pull up some facts and show you. So we go to the Qs. Qs is the same as the ES as far as the rally. They're just dumping the money into the market, and no volume again. There's nothing there to keep it going. So therefore, we're going to pull back on it. Same story. All of these futures are the same. Now, when you go to a lot of the stocks, like BA ended up coming up, there was a bunch of them that never even moved. If we say, now VIX dropped down because that's what VIX does. It just does the complete inverse of ES. So if you had VIX puts up here, then you're doing really well on those. TLT was one. TLT is not really moving that much. I mean, it's got this little drop here, but for what the market is actually doing, this ought to be way down here. I mean, you know, TLT right now should be down in this area, but the people are not, the investors are not pulling their money out of bonds because they don't see any facts to the pump that they're doing. So I think whenever investors feel that the market is actually being traded appropriately, and that they are, the shares are being traded and things are back to normal, this is going to drop because people are going to pull their money out of bonds, but it's not really moving. So if you look at this, I mean, it's just staying within this channel here. You go back, and like I said before, I'm not a expert on bonds, but I've been learning a lot, and I know that the bonds is like a safety zone. So you've got this right here, this channel, and it may, today it may go ahead and come down to here, or maybe the next 2 days get down here, probably 2 days. And then once it gets down and the Feds quit pumping the money in, then I think this is going to start going right back up. So I think this is all big facade. It's like, look at my right hand while I slap you with my left hand. And look at Walmart. Walmart raged hard yesterday, and it's gapping up now. So if you've got any kind of Walmart calls, I think you're doing great. I called it sooner than what it's happening, but I always said that it would come back up to the 128 and possibly hit the 130s. And yesterday they got a upgrade of 130 or 131. So what I've been saying all along through here is actually coming, to the facts now. I thought it was going to be sooner. I thought it was going to be back over in here when it would do it, but I was actually a week early. But if you buy long expiration calls and puts and stuff like that, then whenever you actually do the buys, you've got plenty of time for it to happen. I sold out too soon. I wish I'd have held it. I sold out. Let's see here. Where did I sell? I sold out right here, and I'm glad I sold it because I slept better over the weekend, but I wish I'd have held it because I'd had a lot more money. I definitely would have sold here regardless of what's going to happen today. I definitely would have sold on this spike. Now, yesterday I did get into just a little scalp. I was testing something, and so I just got in a little one. I didn't get any big money, but I made 157% on it, so that was really good. And that's probably what I'll end up doing today, is just doing a little scalping. I'm not doing anything long at all right now. I don't trust what the market's doing. I'm just going to play what the Feds are doing, just like the investors are. And they're playing it, and they're just selling off and taking that money. I'm going to do a one on that Fed. I've got a theory behind all that, and I'm going to go ahead and post that. I might do it today. I'm going to look it up, pull up some different facts to prove my theory, and then we'll see if I'm right. I think when I explain it, I think a lot of people are going to be shocked. I didn't get in USD CAD. I wish I would have. I could have shorted that off, and I wish I would have. I could have made a bunch of money on that. The reason I didn't is I just forgot about it. I'd planned on getting in it, and I just forgot. I could have made, probably, from, let's see, I was going to get in it yesterday evening, so if I'd got in here, 122, so that would have been about 150 pips I would have been up, which is a lot of money. So I didn't do it, though. We look at ABT. ABT is actually going up, just like we said it would. But a lot of this is because of the Fed pump. I think I will probably sell off my ABT calls today. By getting rid of those, we're going to be up on them. I'm just going to take the money because as soon as the market reverses, this is going to come down. It may continue to go up, but I think that I think that I'll just go ahead and take my money. John, be a good video on gold standard 2. Yes, gold standard. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. That's exactly what I'm referring to. When they took the gold away, then the Federal Reserve, everybody thinks the Federal Reserve is the government. It is not the government. It is truly a bunch of banks. You'd be shocked. So everybody thinks the feds are coming in to save the day. No, the feds are the banks that are coming in to make more money. And how, I'm not going to get into it. I'll do a separate video on it. You're going to be shocked. But look at Federal Reserve, who actually owns it. And you'll start, when you start Googling it, you'll actually start finding out the truth behind what the Federal Reserve is. The banks are making a fortune, and the banks are the institutions. So when we refer to the institutions, we're talking about the banking industry. Banks are crooks. They know how to make money, and they're making money off of the taxpayers. So again, another video. Let's go to Amazon. Just about anything you pull up right now is going to be gapped up because of it. There's a bunch of them that weren't. Kohl's is actually coming up. Retail. This store is not even open. How is it going up? So, the stocks are going up. It's all fake. All of this is going to come tumbling down. By looking at Kohl's, this one looks like it's probably going to reverse right there. It's based on that fib. So, and then if we look at Netflix, Netflix is gapped up. Now, one thing about Netflix, it's gapping up. I bought my calls right here, and I bought them way out because I planned on keeping it. But I wish I'd have bought it closer to in the money because I would be up so ridiculously amount, but I didn't. I was playing longs. I got long-term expirations, and so I'm not really doing anything with that because I think my calls they're way out there. And let's see. Let me pull up Tesla. Tesla's not really moving that much with the way the feds are pumping the money, and it's just going sideways. Tesla's just not done well. 2 days ago, it sold off real hard, which was Friday, and it's really not moved up that much for what everything else has done. And that's one sign of the market. I mean, it's not really doing a whole lot. Target gapped way up. Any of the retail like that, Target ought to be up in here. It shouldn't be down there. Target should be up here because they're selling groceries. Twitter's not really moved that much. I mean, it's gapped up a little bit, but it's not really moved like it should have. Uber, I've been talking to a guy in a Discord group about this, and Uber, I did not know this, but I was talking about taking flight lessons and stuff a year ago, and he said that Uber was actually doing Uber planes now. So if you wanted to ride from New York to New Jersey, I think he said it was like $150 one way. That's cheap. To rent a plane and buy the fuel is $150 an hour for just a little Cessna. And so to actually be able to get in a plane with someone else and then fly you and then take you somewhere like that for $150, I mean, that is really cheap to do that. So I did not know Uber was doing that. So they're doing Uber Eats, Uber Planes, Uber Cars. That company is growing. I wish I would have just jumped in long calls right here. But if we do get this big old sell-off, like I think we will next week, and if Uber comes down, I think I'm going to buy leaps on those. And I'll just buy them and hold them. So if I get down here, if I buy, say, I don't know, if it drops back down to around $12, $13, and if I buy like a $20 calls or something, or maybe even closer, buy something like that and just hold it and see where it goes, and buy like 1-2 years out and maybe buy $1,000 worth and just hold it. I think that'd be a pretty good one. Amazon is wild, but Amazon, they do more than just ship boxes. I mean, one of the companies I use their server, AWS, and it's cloud-based. It's just like spectacular. Of course, my developers say that. I don't know much about that stuff, but they said it's the best, and it's cheap. For what I pay, for the usage and everything, it's actually really cheap. So Amazon, they're into that. They're into everything, and now they've got the drones in place where they're actually flying packages to your door and doing away with a lot of the the mail and stuff. I mean, they're like state of the art on everything. Who would think you would have drones dropping off small packages to your door? I mean, it's just crazy, and they've got that in place in some cities. So look at LK. LK, I ended up getting in some calls. I thought we'd have a little pump right here and get above that 15 and go, but it didn't. So that's where we are with the market. I think it's all fake right now. I would not, if I was a long-term investor, which I'm not, but if I was, there's no way in the world I'd be dumping money in the market right now, because it's all fake. It's just monopoly money. And with the, when you rage with no volume, there's an issue. You should always have a lot of volume when you're raging like that, and it's just not happening. So, do what you want with your money, because I never tell anybody to do anything. But definitely, if you're making money on something, you might want to consider taking the profit. And if it goes up more, so be it. But if it goes down, you got your profit. Me personally, I pulled out a lot of stuff yesterday. I pulled out stuff that was close to being in profit that I was a little concerned about, and I pulled out stuff that was in profit. And I felt good about a lot of the stuff I sold yesterday. Some of it I would have made a little more money today based on how it raged overnight, but I'm still okay with what I did. I'm happy. When you go to sell, click sell, you have to be happy with your choice. There's some things I wish I'd have sold off sooner, but I didn't, and it'll all come back. But next week, that's when our puts are really going to roll, and it's probably going to start on either Tuesday night or Wednesday after the Feds get done dumping that $500 billion next Monday. Then I think that we are going to see the economy the way it truly is. Trump is touting the economy now, talking about how great it's doing and stuff. It's coming alive and stuff. But that's all smoke and mirrors, guys. Don't let the news media get you. The economy's in a crapper. We have the highest unemployment we've ever had. We have businesses that are shut down now, and Lone Star Steakhouse is one that they just went bankrupt. They just shut everything down. They were already having trouble anyway. There's a lot of restaurants that are having trouble right now. So when you start seeing all, right now you don't see it, but in a month you're going to see a lot of foreclosures. You're going to, as far as people walking away from their homes, you're not going to see the foreclosures hit the market yet, because it usually takes about 5 months. But you look at the fall. When fall comes, this is going to be the worst economy we've ever had, ever. And I don't care who gets elected president in 2020. It is just going to fall. The American population are spoiled, and they spend their money. And when they spend their money, then there's no savings. And if you don't have savings, you can't make the economy roll. And when these businesses, small businesses usually don't have a lot of money. Small business is always putting their money into the business, and sometimes paying employees before they pay themselves. And then you take the rug out from underneath them, and tell them they got to shut down for a month, 2 months, or whatever. They can't afford it. The people that are in where I live in this tourist town, they are renting out these beach houses and stuff, and their payments are ridiculous. I mean, time they pay the HOA, their payments on them and so forth, and they're paying out probably $3,000 a month for everything. Hurricane insurance on a beach house down here is between $10,000 and $15,000 a year. So that don't stop. They still have to pay those bills. And a lot of people are struggling through the winter just to get by, knowing that April, that they've got everything rented out and they're back to normal. Well, they didn't get it this year, and they're not going to get it in May. So if April's gone and May's going to probably be gone, there's 2 months that they're going to lose. So, and these beach houses rent for $3,000 to $4,000 a week, so they're looking anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 or so a month that they're losing. And if you've got 3 or 4 of those, how much can you take? So I think our economy is going to be much worse than anybody even thinks about. So take that for what it is. I hope your area does better. If you live in a non-tourist area, you're still going to be affected, but not affected the way that our town's going to be affected. My favorite restaurants are probably going to be shutting down, a lot of them. and because they can't handle it. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the economy, on this rage with no volume, why it's doing it. If you want to have the same effect, then hire you a gardener. I pay a guy every week to come every Friday and mow my grass and weed eat and cut and all that stuff. And so I'm like the government on this one. I'm just dumping money into something to make it look pretty. But I do water mine. So anyway, I will see my Discord members in the chat. We're going to talk more about these charts and stuff today and what we can do to try to capitalize on the moves that we're having and see what we can do. If you're not a part of our Discord, please sign up below, get plugged in, and learn how you can try to make some money in a monopoly market, because that's what we are, monopoly market. And please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys this evening.